I have been playing a fuck ton of Sonic Frontiers. I have 100% completed the game.
You like 100% everything you could do?
Yep. Well, no. Yeah, like, okay. I have completed all the maps. I have like 100% completed all the maps. I've had all of the optional conversations. I have done every single thing. I have 5% trophies unlocked. The problem is that with some games, when you get them before they release, they don't provide you with the trophy list. So I don't know what I'm missing. I don't know what it could possibly be. I'm hoping it's not that I want the platinum for this necessarily, but like we drove all the way to town. Like we might as well get out. You know what I'm saying? I'm hoping that it's not like complete a playthrough on hard or something like that, because that would just be stupid. But
well, according to Attack of the Fanboy gave it a 90 and says Sonic Frontiers really picks up the slack where this franchise started to falter. It's still a Sonic game, and it's at its core, and it makes sure to stay true to the name, even when branching out into other unfamiliar areas to the series. Do you agree with that?
No. No. Let me say this. This is the best 3D Sonic game since... this is the best Sonic game. I'm not counting Sonic Mania because Sonic Team didn't fucking touch that. This is the best Sonic game since Sonic Adventure 2.
I'm going to say that's not a very, like...
That is the lowest bar that could possibly... It's worse than Sonic Adventure 2. It's worse than Sonic Adventure 1. So I guess it's the third best 3D Sonic game. But again, wow, you beat Sonic 06, Sonic Frontiers, Sonic the Black Knight, like... Wow, that must have been so hard for you, Sonic Frontiers.
So what you're saying is you agree more with the 20 out of 100 that Digital Trends gave it, saying, while not outright broken like Sonic the Hedgehog 2006 or Sonic Boom, Sonic Frontiers is a heavily misguided game that muffles good ideas with questionable narrative, technical, and gameplay design decisions. Sonic Team continues to demonstrate that it's not quite sure what to do with the blue blur, taking a wild swing with a game that tries to rival open world games rather than double down on the strengths of newer titles like Sonic Generations and Sonic Mania, or older successes like Sonic Adventure series.
Yep. That review is, I think, echoes literally every single opinion that I have on the game. That was written by Thomas Franzesi, sort of friend of the show. We like almost work together. Don't worry about it. I write at Digital Trends too. It's not important. What I'm trying to say is, I think his score is a little low. I think I would probably go more like a 4 or 5, but that's just a semantic difference, really. Yeah, it is not a game that I think is. I think at its core, it's a very poorly designed game, and all of its issues come from the fact that I think that Sonic Team didn't know what they wanted to do with it. They spent all this time being like, it's not Breath of the Wild, it's not Breath of the Wild, it's not Breath of the Wild. Well, Sonic Team, if you didn't want anyone to compare it to Breath of the Wild, you shouldn't have just fucking made a Sonic game that's Breath of the Wild. I'm sorry. I know people hate that comparison of like, oh, this is like Breath of the Wild. It's fucking Breath of the Wild, but it's Sonic. Like I don't know how to say like without comparing the two, because it's just like they played Breath of the Wild and said like, well, we should do this with Sonic. Let's make big open-ended areas, right, with Koroks jumping around, with that you can collect and use to increase your abilities. There are, let's say, like 4 divine beasts that you have to go slay in order to rescue your friends. Let's have these like bite-sized little puzzles for you to complete. Let's do the soundtrack where it's all just like distant piano music. Like I don't know how to say this. Is just like they looked at Breath of the Wild and said, we're going to do literally every single part of that without just saying that. So
all right, is there anything like good about it before we talk about the... You said no. Immediately head shake.
Let me say this. Like, if you like Sonic games, you're going to like this game, because I'm not trying to be mean. I'm not trying to like tell you that you have bad taste in games. Like, I'm not trying to say any of that, but I am trying to say if you've liked Sonic games since the games on the Dreamcast, you're going to like this game because it's better than all those games. Like, it just is, right? Like, it is a better made game, but that doesn't mean it's a good game. You know what I mean? Like, okay, yeah, you're not falling through the fucking floor all the time like in Sonic 06. So I guess it's like, I guess that's better, right? Yeah. But even then, like, it is a weird, oh gosh, it is such a sterile version of these characters. Something that I think Sonic has done really, really, really well is it has a really rather like when it. I guess, okay, I'm like interrupting myself a bunch here. I think Sonic the Hedgehog has a really cool style in terms of like visual and audio and like artistic style, right? I think that it peaked with something like Sonic Adventure 2, where you have these cool like anime characters like in the menus, and like it's got this like really cool like rock soundtrack, and there's just like all these stylistic choices that are made that while they aren't realistic, they just aid in the idea of like these characters are cool. You know what I mean? And I think that a lot of the other Sonic games have tried to capture that similar style to middling success. This game just takes all that and throws it out the window. They said, you want a story? Well, we'll just tell like this really weird story about death and dying and accepting the fact that like everyone dies and stuff like that, which is like not a Sonic thing, in my opinion, at all. Let's take all of the cool like rock songs and stuff. Let's put them in like 2 places in the game, and then like let's just stick with like weird distant piano music, right? Let's take like the kind of like quippiness that the other scripts have had, and let's just like take all that out, or let's keep a little bit of the quippiness in, but like let's put it at really weird times and like make the writing way worse. I'm not saying that Sonic, like the old Sonic games, were like fucking masterpieces, but you didn't have Tails say something like pretty simple about like, oh, I think I'm caught in like in a digital distortion world, and then Sonic literally looks at the camera and goes, well, those were words you just said. Like, it's so grating. It's so, gosh. My problem with it is I guess I don't even really know where to begin, because like every single part of this game, I think, is just flawed. And like I don't know like how to even like begin breaking that down. Let me say this. The good parts of this game are the action stages, because basically there are 2 different places you can be. You can either be in the open world running around doing like little platforming challenges and fighting enemies, or you can be in like action stages, which are more akin to, you know, your either 2D side-scrolling Sonic or 3D, more like Sonic Adventure and I guess Sonic 06 and stuff like that. Those are generally pretty good. They're like, their hit rate in terms of like being really solid is like, I would say a 60%, with 60 being really great and 40 being like not so great. That's a lot better than what the rest of this game is fucking batting. Like, so I guess take that with, you know, how you will. The problem is they're all over in like the longest ones are 2 minutes. So you're going to be spending like a very, very, very minor amount of your time with this game doing those levels. And basically once you play through them, like there's not really a whole lot of reasons to go back, because there are like 4 challenges that you have to complete in each level. And when you complete them, you get little keys to unlock shrines for Chaos Emeralds. And you're just showered in these keys. So like, unless you want to go back and like try for 100% completion, or you want to like just like experience the level again, there's just like not really a good reason to go back and want to do all that. So that's what I like.
So the gameplay itself.
Sorry, I know this is just a vomit of words.
Oh,
yes.
no, the gameplay itself. How is the gameplay feeling? Talking first about movement and then about combat.
Sonic moves both too fast and too slow at the exact same time. He doesn't turn around very easily, which I guess makes sense, but like the momentum feels bad. Either you are 100% gunning it, or you are standing completely still. And pretty much as soon as you like let go of the run button or the like directional buttons, like you just come to a complete halt. So there's no like sense of momentum or movement that like really feels good. And because of that, like it just makes like gunning it feel like really hollow, because you're gunning it all the time. You know what I'm saying? Like you don't ever build up to it really. So like the movement in general feels pretty bad. The camera is always working against you, which is, I mean, I guess they're paying homage to classic Sonic games, I suppose.
With bad gameplay design. Yeah, that's the one thing everyone loves about Sonic.
Like the camera is either like, you know, a third person, like omnidirectional camera, or it is a completely stagnant camera. And like it's always static in the 2D levels or like the action stages, which I think generally works pretty good. But it will go to the side scrolling stuff when you're on like 90% of the like platforming puzzles that are in the open world. But the problem is because there are so many of those platforming puzzles, you'll sometimes just like end up walking into them in the middle of them. And you're like caught in this 2D camera where you cannot escape from because you can't like all of the like the controls sort of switch. So like now instead of holding up to move forward, like now that just is up, right? So you can't, if you like accidentally get into one of these like little jungle gyms areas, like you can't escape. So basically, you are wandering around this open world, and there are all of these like little bit like pieces of platforming puzzles scattered everywhere. And the goal is to collect a bunch of these memory tokens in order to save your friends because they're all like trapped in like this cyber world. And so you collect the memory tokens by performing these like little platforming puzzles. And generally they're just like 15 seconds each. You just like grind on a rail and then you bounce off a spring and then you go through a hoop and then inside the hoop is like one of the keys, right? But there are like, for reference, there are like 800 of them on the map and they're all marked. So like you're just picking these things up constantly. So they're needed to progress because like each story beat, you need to have a certain amount of the keys to get. But at a certain point when you're just like wandering around the world, you're just picking them up so fast that you are just walking from one story beat to the next. And the story beats are just two characters talking. It's just Tails looking at all the ancient structures and being like, wow, I wonder how these got here. And then Sonic being like, no idea. And then it's like fade to black. And then the new objective is either go collect more tokens or go talk to Tails again. Yeah.
Story.
Yeah.
What is it? Like good?
Sonic, Tails. No, what? No. Sonic, Tails, and Amy are flying on the tornado over some islands, and then they crash land, and Sonic's friends are caught in a digital world, and Sonic is in the real world, and he's got to get him out. And he does that by running around the island. It's disappointing because like I think what really separated Sonic also from like other things back in the day was like, let me say, like, I feel like Sonic's biggest competitor has always been something like Mario. Would you agree with that? Like, that was always the comparison. Like,
that was the hope.
A long time ago.
Yeah, that was the hope of Sega, yeah.
And like, I feel like while there were a lot of missteps with things like Sonic Adventure 1 and 2, like, what I think they really nailed was having at least an interesting story going on, or like a story that like had like plot beats and like character and different developments and stuff like that. It didn't always land. It was cheesy, sure, but like, you know, it's the anime bullshit of like power of friendship stuff. But like, I just don't think that like this game doesn't have any of that. Like there are no plot beats. It's just Sonic is trying to rescue his friends, and then he eventually does because it's just the one thing that happens in the game. Eggman's there. Eggman is also trapped in the digital distortion world. I don't know why. I don't know why he was there. He shows up and he's just there.
Do they introduce him by Dr. Robotnik, Eggman? Like, just really no, damn it.
No, he shows up and like Sonic and him have like two lines of dialogue together. Like, there's just nothing. I don't know why he's there.
Because he's like Sonic, man.
I guess it's so weird because like I think this game is like so odd. Especially, I feel like if they're trying to capitalize on the one thing that's been successful about Sonic over the past 10, 15 years, which has been the Sonic movies, like those are so full of character and like character, right? Like there's like portrayal, like the different characters have different feelings about things and are all different. Whereas everyone in this game is just the exact same. They're all static and like the story's not interesting. There's no vibrance to the world. Like it's all dead.
Sonic Frontiers. It's all dead.
Also, so basically, like,
put that on the shirt.
I'm sorry. I feel like I've done like a bad job explaining like what.
Oh
this
no,
is,
no, no,
but...
no! I'm getting the vibe.
Okay, so I think one of the like most egregious parts about this. So I played it on the PS5, and that's what everyone reviewed it on. So like the pop-in, I don't generally care about like how. Like the presentation of a game generally, like I do a little bit, and like it's kind of our job to talk about that sort of stuff and like really like get into the weeds of something like that. But like technical performance like generally doesn't really bother me. The frame rate in this is not very good. You will break open a box. There's just like boxes littered everywhere, and then like the game will freak the fuck out. It will not know what to do. Because it's like
you were supposed to do that.
Well, it's just like there's more than 4 pieces of this box here. Like I don't know how to handle this. But I think like the pop-in with this is just egregious. So the idea is that there are all these jungle gyms, right? These like rails and like rails and bounce pads and like hoops and things like that to use to get around the world, to both like traverse and also to collect those memory tokens and stuff like that. But there are certain things like islands and stuff that you need to like grind on rails to get to, or use these like platforming puzzles to get to. But the pop-in is, and I'm not being hyperbolic here, like 15 feet. Like I'm serious. Watch some gameplay of this like fully released video game. The pop-in is just abhorrent. You cannot make plans on how to get places in Sonic Frontiers because you cannot see where you want to go, and you cannot like, you don't have the information to understand like how to get there. So sometimes you'll run around a little island being like, how the hell am I supposed to get here? Oh, there's an underground tunnel. Sometimes you'll run around an island being like, how am I supposed to get here? Oh, there is a platform that I need to jump to that I can't see unless I jump to it. Like one of the like, oh, I can't get here because there's a tunnel that I need to find. Like, okay, that's kind of cool. But the fact that there is both a tunnel that you need to find sometimes, and also sometimes the game just doesn't show you the information you need unless you're like making like Hail Mary jumps into like the ether. It's terrible. It is like really, really, really bad.
All right. Now I got to do some comparisons, right?
Yes.
Is this game better than the medium?
Fuck.
We're starting with the hard questions today.
I guess I had more fun with this game. Like, because also, okay. When I started it up, I didn't hate it initially because you're sort of like getting accustomed to it and everything. And then you play for 30 minutes and you go, oh, this is it? Like, this is all you have? Oh, no. Right?
Yeah.
There is some laughable stuff in here, I think, that I laughed at in a I don't know, like I had fun. Like, okay. Fuck, no, I didn't. Like I thought the medium was a completely lifeless husk of a video game. I thought this, like, at least you can see what they're trying to do. It just doesn't work.
Okay, so is this better than Gotham Knights?
No, probably not.
Okay.
Yeah.
Is this better than Elden Ring?
No, what? No. No, it is not.
All right. Now, you've answered the questions. I've calibrated where this is on your scale of reviews. Ultimately, it is better than the medium.
It is better than the medium. It's better than Scorn. I'm trying to think what else I really didn't like this year. It's better than Final Fantasy Stranger Paradise, for sure.
Okay.
Chaos. It is functional. It is functional. It just doesn't like feel very good to play. It doesn't look good. Like there's no story there for you to latch on to. Sonic fans will like this, like I said, because there's Sonic in it and you get to run really fast. And like that's all Sonic fans might need, because like, hey, those other games aren't very good, right? So this is a dramatic step up in terms of it's a functioning video game that isn't 2 hours long, that has Sonic in it, and he does some cool stuff sometimes. But it's just one of those things where like I don't know what Sonic Team has been doing. Like, I feel like they've regressed so far from how fluid the Sonic and Shadow stages are in Sonic Adventure 2. And it's a little baffling in my opinion.
I think
I feel like I've done a poor job maybe explaining like what the moment-to-moment game is for this. But I think that if you watch a video, you'll be able to sort of see the things that I'm talking about better than me just sort of talking like shotgun firing like, what doesn't work about Sonic Frontiers? Everything. I don't know.
Where would we be able to find out more about what it looks like playing it?
Oh, that's really interesting, Justin. I think if you become a deluxe podcast producer on patreon.com/hitboxpod for just $3 a month, you'll be able to have a bonus episode of about 30 minutes of additional conversation. And then also you get a YouTube video of us playing it and talking with that conversation over it. That's where I would go.
Okay,
if I wanted
that seems
more.
like a great place to go. And how much would that be again?
Again, that's $3 a month.
Oh, okay.
And in addition to that, like you're not just paying $3 for this Sonic footage. Like, you're getting 20 additional 30-minute episodes. There's another 10 hours of Hitbox content for just $3 a month. So, and you can help us buy new microphones
and cameras.
We don't need new microphones, but we would love your $3 if you can. If not, hey, I'm not a cop. Do whatever you like, or your dad.